Alright, fight video. I started fighting at a young age. I was 5 foot. I'm 5'5" now. I was 5 foot average, short, all grown up. So I used to get picked on a lot. So after getting my ass whooped a few times, I went to learning to fight and working out. And I had ADD, so I had issues. So I eventually found out that, or told myself, it was easier to be angry than to be depressed. So I stayed angry, and I think I got my son's here. I wonder if my wife's here too. Anyways, I used to get in a lot of fights when I was younger, right? Started at a young age. All through high school, I fought. I picked fights. And some of my better fights were captivating. There was a time that I had this girlfriend, this on again, off again girlfriend, right? Well, she had this boyfriend that went to another school, and he obviously didn't like me for whatever reasons. So I worked at Kroger in Marietta, and he came in there when I was working one day with him and his buddies, and he was showing out, and he pushed me, right? But I really couldn't do nothing. It was him and a bunch of his friends, and they were all bigger than me. So I took it. So the next week, a friend of his, this guy Matt Anderson, looks up to this guy, right? So he's gonna come in. He's gonna give me a hard time at work now, right? Little did I know. Let me tell us later in the story. So this guy Matterson, he's coming in. He's talking smack to me, right? I'm at work. One day he comes in and he smacks me in the back of the head, right? And an old man is standing there. I'm at work, and I work at Kroger bagging groceries, and I'm wearing my apron, right? So my manager sees what's going on, and I go over and tell her, I've got to clock out. She said, yeah, it's a good idea. So I went, clocked out, took my apron off, and there was an old man standing right there that had seen this, right? So I go outside, and by this time, we go out there and we start fighting, and it starts pouring rain, right? I'm right in front of the glass, right in front of all the baggers and, cashiers and the lines, and me and this kid are fighting, and he throws a punch, and I duck it, he misses, and I catch him, and I catch him with 3 solid shots, and I knock him out, right? And I look to the side of me, and there's like 50 people standing. The entire store was standing there watching. They closed down the registers and the whole nine. It became a spectacle, and because it was raining and whatnot, and I guess some of the people was pointing, look, fight, whatever, for whatever reason. This guy was sitting there. We stood there for a few minutes sizing each other up before he swung, and I ducked his punch and I beat his ass. And like I said, when the fight was over, I looked, and the entire store had stopped and was standing at the glass, literally watching and clapping, and it was a beautiful thing, right? So the fight's over. He didn't get one lick on me, and I knocked him out. And as he's getting up, he's standing right by the curb, and he's dragged out. I've knocked him out cold, and now he's coming to. He's starting to stand up, and as he does, the old man that's seen him push me puts his foot on this guy's rib and pushes him over. So this guy got a double whammy. So now this old man's pushed him off the curb out into the rain, and people were cheering and clapping and laughing, and it was like something out of a movie, no shit. So I'd been in a couple really good fights, but some of the best fights I've seen are really with other people. When you fight, maybe I don't remember it exactly as it was. I got in a fight where a guy had to tell his parents he dropped the transmission on his face because I beat this kid like stupid for like 5 minutes. I mean, like I mangled this kid bad, right? And I have friends that I'm friends with now, still to this day. One of these guys likes a lot of my pictures. What's his name again? It'll come to. He's someone that likes every one of my pictures. There's Mike Kramer, there's another guy. I can't believe I can't remember his name. Anyways, there's someone that was at this fight when I beat this kid that bad that can testify to this. So those were some of my best fights. And that was when I was in high school. But to be perfectly honest, the fights that I got into behind bars, most of them I lost. So, good fights, and I didn't win every fight. Like I said, I started fights, I did fights, I just enjoyed it. It was a way to burn off steam. I was an angry kid anyways, I wanted to be prepared for the next one. And being the little guy was constantly tested, constantly people were picking fights with me, to show out for girls or whatever. It's just how it kind of was, And, so I fought a lot in high school, and after high school, we would go to Buckhead on the weekends, and Buckhead now is completely different from what it was when I was in my 20s. Buckhead was like a huge party scene, right? It was like a couple of hundred bars within a 3-mile radius, thousands of people out partying in the streets, going to different clubs and stuff. That's what Buckhead used to be like. These are in the days when these fake wrestlers that were big names, they used to party in these days in these clubs. Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump, he was known to snort an ounce of cocaine and go fight in clubs. It's just what went on. Well, one of these clubs was called World Bar, and me and all the guys I went to school with were friends with all the bartenders and the bar backs, the managers, and there were 2 Atlanta police that secured this thing. So all of my buddies were, like I said, friends with a lot of bartenders and stuff. So there was me and like 10 of my friends could walk in this place and literally drink all night for free. Have girls come up and buy what seemed like free shots and free drinks for people, and it was a good time, But we would fight a lot in this place and get away with it. So one night, a friend of mine comes up to me, and my buddy Kevin grabbed it. He said, "These 2 guys are picking on Brian fucking me." I said, "Alright." I said, "I got you." So I went up to him, and Kevin was kind of back, so it was me and these 2 guys. One of them grabbed my arms, tied my arms up, while the other punched me in the head, right? I jumped up and did a double-footed karate kick and pushed the guy back and turned around and started beating the hell out of this guy. And we're on the dance floor, right? We're fighting around the dance floor, the lights are under us, the whole 9. And so the dance floor kind of opens up, and people see what's going on. They're giving us our room. So I'm fighting it out with these 2 guys. 2 more of my buddies come over, grab the other guy, and we commenced beating the shit out of him on the dance floor, right? So grab one of the guys, I grabbed his belt loop, right? And I got down on my knees, and I had a hold of this guy's belt. He couldn't go nowhere, right? And another friend of mine, Clint, was the kicker for our football team and played soccer and was unbelievable with hacky sack. He had big, strong, powerful legs. So I hold this guy down, and Clint runs up and gives him a soccer kick, and boom, kicks this guy in the face, and this guy goes flying across the dance floor. Like I said, people are watching, and it's a spectacle. And so they come and they get us, they escort us out. And another friend of mine who I've been with on many occasions, my good friend Todd Winder, me and Todd would go out and drunk, and so when you get drunk, we were young, I was hot-headed, so it was either about girls, and couldn't hook up with girls, and it was just fun to fight, you know. And Todd was the same way. Todd's ADD too, so he was as bad, if sometimes worse than me. So we're getting run out of the club this night, right? And so the cops are escorting us out, and as we're walking out, Todd's walking in. He shakes his head and he smiles. He said, "Damn, you can't stay out of trouble in this place." I said, "Nah, I really can't." So that was one night. There was another night that me and 10 of my friends were right outside this bar, right? World Bar. It was a hot bar in Buckhead back in this time, right? So we're walking around outside, and St. Patty's Day, we'd been to a show somewhere in Atlanta already, and I was already shit-faced, and the scene that night was insane in Buckhead, right? It was St. Patrick's Day, and you know, there's hundreds of thousands of people walking around drunk, carrying drinks in the street, but normally you couldn't, but on this day, you could. And so we're walking, and we're right in front of World Bar, and me and this guy hit shoulders, right? We checked each other with a shoulder, and it's by accident, and all I remember is had a nice white shirt on, right? And when I bumped this guy, he had this deep red drink, right? And it was like I could see this shit like slow motion, right? We bump, I see the drink go up in the air, I see the drink come down, it lands on my red shirt, I flip, and just go straight into Mike mode, and commence to beating this guy, right? I'm with 10 of my friends, I don't know how many, several of them are trying to break me up from this guy, like 5, 6 of my friends are trying to pull me off of him, right? No shit. Little Mike and me, I'm the shortest and smallest out of all of my friends. 5'5", the smallest. But it's taken all of them to pull me off of this guy. And my buddy Todd goes to pull me off, and I punch him in the nose, and I bust his nose, right? So now Todd's nose is broke, bloody, and I'm fighting, and some other friends are trying to pull me off, and all I remember hearing is Russell cops. The cops, cut it out, man, and that's all it took to get me to stop. And I really wouldn't stop fighting with this guy. I mean, just like crazy Hulk mode, and when it was all over, I never even seen what the guy looked like, okay? No idea who I was fighting, okay? Just went into a mad drunk rage. And when it was over, and they split us apart, and they stood us, and I stood up. I'm standing next to this guy, and this guy's like 6'6", 275, a brick shit house, right? I'm not exaggerating, I shit you not. Like I said, friends that can vouch for this. This guy was like the Hulk. He was huge, he was cut up, he was ripped up, he was 4, 5, 6 times my size. And I'm standing next to him, and I look up to him, and I'm like, now I'm like intimidated as hell. Like, I never even seen how big he was or nothing. I just flipped. So now I'm like checking him out. I'm like, holy shit. And he goes and he sticks his hand and he shakes me. He said, look, man. I said, holy shit. He said, you got it going on, bro. I give it up to you, you know. You whoop my ass straight up. And so it was crazy. So I'm cool with him now. We've shook hands, and I think we're okay. And he's standing in line to go into our club, World Bar. And by this time, Todd comes over and tells the guy, you're not getting our club. Nah, man, nah, you ain't getting our club, whatever. Now Todd, he wants some. And so Todd goes over to this guy. And keep in mind, me and this guy, we've made up. We're cool. We're smiling at each other and shit. Todd walks over to this guy and blows his nose in the guy's shirt. His bloody nose. He said, nah, motherfucker, you ain't going to our club. And he blew in this guy's shirt. And that was a good one there. probably the best ones. Those nights we fought in the club themselves. A lot of other times, there's times that I fought. I've been told stories that I don't even remember. I've gotten blackout drunk before parties, especially when I was young. Sometimes I get shitty stupid, and literally I've woken up in bushes. You know, I've woken up in lawns. I've woken up in all kind of real weird circumstances that I never would dream of not drinking. So I fought a lot then, and there was a time my parents went out of town in high school, right? And there was several guys fighting in my front yard, and I told them, stop, I'm about to have a party, my parents are out of town, and these knuckleheads, they're out fighting in front of my house. I got this friend, he's a big burly gray bait motherfucker. Like, we're 17, he's fully grown at 17. This guy's got receding hairline. He's, probably 275, solid muscle, but already a full beard and a bald head. Well, he beats up these guys, right? And so they leave, and he calls them some racial slurs. Well, they leave. There were some white guys that went to my school that were, active and dressed black. No offense or nothing, but it's just what it was. They went and got their homies and came back. This is hours later now, right? My parents are gone out of town. I've been at a party. Since that transpired earlier in the night, people have come and gone. There was a lot of people there at one time, only 50 people at the same time drinking. Now the party's thinning out. There's about 6 girls and maybe 2 or 3 guys. Me and my best friend Don, and maybe one other dude. There's more girls than guys. And I get a knock on the door, and I go to the door, and they had literally gone and gotten an entire gang. Yeah, I'm not exaggerating. Shout out to the Dukes boys. They were good friends, and the older brother, Devo, was in a gang when we were young in high school. And I open the front door, and Devo says, I heard what happened. I heard you didn't have no part in it. It's all good, but I need to check your house to look for your boys, right? I said, holy shit, here come 30 plus black guys in my house. I'm not racist, but they was all packed in, right? All of them had guns, knives, whatever. If the guys that had fought earlier were still there, they either got like a 30-on-4 beat down or murdered. I'm not sure, but definitely one of the two would have happened. So they come in my house, and my buddy Donovan, they grew up with, he had a small part in it. He wasn't 100%, but he was involved, and he was running his mouth. So he was still left in my house. They came in 30 deep, grabbed Donovan, took him into the den, sat him in the middle of my living room, and sat him in a chair and slapped him and punched him and gave him black eye and, pitched him out. But he's lucky, he got away with his life. Possible the other guys would have been around, they could have lost theirs. 30 people. They weren't there to play backgammon. That was one gnarly fight. The guy, his name was Ryan Richardson, that started the whole mess. He was this country dude, this full-grown gray bait that I went to school with. He was a Mag Tracy fighter, right? This guy was like I said, he was like 250, 75 pounds, 6'8", just a beast, arms like tree trunks, hand as big as a rack of bananas. I mean, he used to pick people up one-handed off the ground, no problem. That's how big and crazy he was. I watched him fight a man twice his size in the streets of Buckhead when I was 15 or 16. In the streets of Buckhead, St. Patty's Day, they beat the hell out of this grown man. They didn't have phones and such back in the day, but that was like, I still haven't seen a fight that good in real life, in jail or out of jail or on TV. That was hands down the best fight. Another time I went to a pot rally, right? Just a pot rally at Piedmont Park, right? Had a pot festival years ago. Me and this girl Nadine I'm friends with went together, and I think it was Kilo was playing. They had a bunch of rap groups going and stuff, right? I think it was Kilo said something and came up with something racist, right? And Piedmont Park turned into a riot, right? Like people started going like ape shit, like blacks attacking the whites with beer bottles, and like it looked like a tornado had come in, like from all the fight and chaos. Dust was being kicked up, people's food and stuff was being kicked up and around, and it was a madhouse, right? My wife's home. I might have to cut this short. That's only a portion of it. That's part one. Part two's coming.